In the studio now we have Paul Harlow, Assistant Professor in Life Sciences, here to talk about sport and exercise science at the University of Nottingham, including the amazing research that feeds into our teaching, setting up students for success. We're also joined by Daniel, who is a third-year sport and exercise science student at the university. Welcome to you both. I will start with you, Paul. What is it that made you want to go into a career in sport and exercise?
I think sort of at a young age, I was sort of very scientific and sporty, which a lot of our students are, but just having a real sort of passion for science, studying scientific subjects, wanting to maybe keep my options open, not wanting to maybe commit to a career at that sort of early stage, and wanted to make sort of an informed choice on the direction that I wanted to go. So I felt that sports science would increase my scientific knowledge further, but in a broad spectrum of sciences, and leave my options open for the future. I also had sort of a passion for sport and exercise, and I had a passion for sort of health and disease and how the body interacts within its environment.
And this is an area that's, always changing, new innovations coming in all the time. What's some of the things that you're interested in at the moment?
Absolutely. I mean, sport and exercise science in the field, if you stay as you are, you're behind sort of already. So you've got to be searching for the next thing and sort of innovation. So there's a lot of research activity within our group, sort of in particular in sort of the physiology of aging. So it's an important thing sort of in the UK and worldwide, that our ageing population, we seem to be putting sort of years into our life, but not putting the life into those years. So we spend the latter portion of our days with a reduced functional capacity and therefore highly sort of probable well-being. So there's a lot of research that's going on within our department looking at ageing. So one of the biggest studies of its kind is looking at taking middle-aged people and actually for 6 weeks getting them involved in a highly controlled training study, so that they either increase their physical activity, so going from a low physical activity level to increasing it, or in reverse. So really sort of trying to look at how the physical activity can modulate brain health, heart health and muscle function. So that's ongoing within our department. There's more within our sort of psychology group. We're looking at performance in sport using Google Lens and Google glasses to really sort of look at where they pick up cues in terms of the performance of sort of key sporting skills.
And Daniel, what is it that interested you about studying this degree and the topic in general?
Well, the course at Nottingham, it's obviously scientific in nature, so that's kind of what attracted me to choosing sport and exercise science at Nottingham. Especially during my A-levels, I wanted to learn more about the effect of exercise on the body and how the body reacts to it. And the fact that we're able to learn more about each of the different home bases in sport and exercise science as well. So we've touched on psychology, biomechanics, physiology and nutrition, and anatomy as well. So just learning more about each of those home bases in a lot more detail has been really good.
And being at Nottingham, what is it that you kind of love about the university itself?
Yeah, well, I think sport in general and just the community has been really good. The campus is really nice as well. Yeah.
Good all round.
Good all round.
And for you, Paul, what is it that, when students are looking at coming here, what is it about sport and exercise science that is so good at this university? I
mean, sport and exercise science it's an incredibly sort of competitive market. So our course set out from its sort of conception to be unique. And one of the sort of key drivers is our sort of expertise and our facilities. So we have a sort of fantastic setup here at Nottingham. We're run from a medical school. So we have access to very similar sort of techniques. For example, we've got access to MRI scanners. We've got access to not only exercise testing facilities, but we've also got access to wet labs that you will see amongst medicine and other scientific courses. So things like sort of PCR analysis, we've got Western blots. To me, it was sort of unimaginable that you could actually be using some of these research techniques in an undergraduate sport and exercise science degree We've also got access to the anatomy suite, so where we get again the same access as the medical students. We're looking at prosections, dissections, 3D modelling of anatomy. So it really sort of brings it to life in terms of they're not learning anatomy from a textbook. It is the high-end techniques that are only available in medical schools. And even within medical schools up and down the country, the expertise is waning, and also the cost of those facilities is often prohibitive, and there are a number of medical providers that are indeed sort of shutting those down on that basis. But at Nottingham, sport and exercise science gets access to those full facilities.
And you said there, it's a really highly competitive field. So does that mean that when it comes to graduation and careers, there's lots of opportunities for people?
There is increasingly sort of lots of opportunity. I mean, no sort of two universities are different, and what we try to convey to our prospective students is come to us if you like this, and we're really sort of honest in terms of what we provide. I can't sort of stress enough the high level of science, which is in line with our other sort of courses in life sciences. So it's sort of on an equal level to our biochemistry degrees, our biology, our pharmacology degrees. So in our degree, you're not assessed sort of practically how quick you are or sort of running about with the ball. It is the scientific study of sport and how the body interacts with the environment. In terms of sort of employment opportunities as a result of that, we do believe, and we have evidence that our alumni are going on to, say, for example, graduate entry medicine. We have a very high success rate of graduate entry medicine, which is sort of historically very difficult to do from a sports science degree. That's not to say that all of our students may have that sort of medical basis. What that is there to emphasise is the depth of science that is required to get on such a course. So when you graduate from our degree, the options in the wider sort of sciences for further study or indeed employment, either in health, clinical or in a sporting capacity, are available to our students.
And Daniel, can you tell me a little bit about some of the things that you've really enjoyed while studying on this course? Because there seems to be a lot there that you get involved in.
Yeah, I'd say that doing the practicals is probably the highlight, I think, of the degree, because you basically use what you've learned in a lecture and your seminars, and you transfer that to a practical setting. So yeah, I'd say the practicals have been really good, and also the anatomy sessions as well. Like Paul was saying earlier, you're learning anatomy in an actual anatomy suite, so you're not learning the anatomy out of a textbook. So I think it's a lot more interactive, and you learn a lot more quickly, I think, in that setting. I think with the biomechanics as well, I had the opportunity to do a biomechanics practical, which you wouldn't have access to that facility anywhere else, I think. So that's been really good.
And do you know what you're going to do once you graduate?
I'm still deciding what I want to do, but I definitely want to stay in the sporting industry or something related to health in that kind of sector, I'd say.
And finally, a question I think that both of you can answer. Who is this course right for? If somebody's watching this, what sort of skills or interests do they need to have in order to succeed here?
If you're studying scientific subjects, it may be that you do know that you're interested in sort of elite sport, you're interested in sport, exercise, nutrition from a health capacity, or even sort of a clinical side of things, then this course is for you. But also if you're any one of those, Dan's just said that he's not quite sure yet, but he still has time. So we develop those interests so that we can develop those specialisms along the way. You choose your modules accordingly, and that we can help reach you in terms of an avenue where is appropriate for you. So I think there's a broad spectrum of opportunities that are available for students, and as such, if you have an interest in science, and particularly for example, we do get some applicants that are from maybe sports rehab or physiotherapy or dietetics. If you're not sure that you want to be a physiotherapist, but you're interested in sport and science, we pick up a lot of students and we help them sort of understand what it is they want to go on to do.
Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, just anyone that's interested in learning more about the effect of exercise on the body, and if they're interested in any of those 4 home bases that I touched on earlier, yeah, I think it's the right course for you.
Thank you so much. That was great. Thank you, guys. And there is a whole host of information available on the website, which you can visit using the link in the schedule below.